Hello, and I'd like to welcome you all once again to the old schoolhouse here in the village of Potterstone for this, our 22nd live concert from the old school here. And I was just working it out. I haven't been outside my gate for 6 weeks. 6 weeks ago, we started these little shows. And I'm getting a bit worried about myself. I'm actually having big conversations with the tatty faces, and I'm even talking to the chickens out in the garden. But anyway, it's nice of you to join us here in the old school. And for those of you who have just joined for the first time, this is my old village school. This is the wee village school that where all the country kids went to. And I went to school here. My dad went to school here in the 1930s, and then in the 1960s it was closed down. And it lay empty for years, and then I was able to buy it about 30 years ago and turn it into a recording studio. And so it's great to be able to do these wee live shows. And so for those of you who have just joined too, I've been trying not to repeat myself on the last 20-second shows. So, and I've managed it apart from one song, which I do every now and again, but not more than once a week or once every 10 days. So I'm digging into my kind of archive, and this is an old song of mine. And I wrote this for my originally for my grandfather. My grandparents on the MacLean side were all Gaelic speakers and native Gaelic speakers, and we didn't call my grandfather, we called him Shenner, which is Gaelic for grandfather. And I thought it was quite exotic when I was at school coming up. I didn't have a grandfather, I had a grandpa, I had a Shenner. But I didn't really understand much about the whole Gaelic thing until I was a lot older, and then I did a wee bit of thinking about it, and my great-grandfather came over from the island of Mull, and settled in Argyllshire, and probably never went back. And they were quite embarrassed about they were shy about their Gaelic, and in fact they were made to feel embarrassed about it. And I remember actually, my sister and I, there was an old lady lived next door to us called Mrs. McNeil, and she was from the island of Barra. And if I was out walking with my grandfather, we might call it to Mrs. McNeil's, and she'd make us a glass of milk, and the two of them would sit at the table and talk Gaelic to each other, and we found this fascinating as kids, but I didn't really understand what it was all about. Anyway, I wrote this song, and so I'm going to have a wee go at it now, and let's see how we got on. From the island of the mountains to the hills across Argyll, with a heart that is so broken with every weary mile, and he'll never hear the whisper of his Hebridean wind, or the thunder of the ocean as the Mensch comes tumbling in. He's holding out, he's holding out on the frayed edge of time, on the borderline. And he rests the tired shepherd where the gentle Devon flows, but inside there is a yearning, oh, and no one really knows. And in the quiet of the evening, while he would sing his island songs from the ashes of his fathers, the children of his sons, and he's holding out, he's holding out on the frayed edge of time, on the borderline. And these chains have not been broken, and our freedom is not won. And though many words are spoken, we still wander weary on. And there are 100 questions and 1,000 reasons why, but our answers, they are somewhere in the Hebridean sky. And he's holding out. He's holding out on the frayed edge of time, on the borderline. Thank you very much, and that was my wee song, Shanner's song, and I'm all tangled up here. I enjoyed having the kind of exotic grandfather. I'm going to do this wee song now. I'm just going to change guitars, and just take me a wee minute. I use quite a lot of different guitar tunings, and so it's easier just to put the guitar into the tuning, and then I'm not sort of fiddling around, getting into a panic trying to kind of tune a guitar while everybody's sitting kind of in front of their laptops twiddling their fingers. And so my okay, so now just excuse me a wee minute. I've got tangled up here somehow. Oh. And this was a song I wrote after the death of a really close friend of mine in America, a wonderful fiddle player called Johnny Cunningham. And Johnny and I spent a lot of time together when in our youth and in our 20s, and we used to rake around the bars in Edinburgh with our fiddles. And I'd travel down to Edinburgh, and we'd end up in Sandy Bells, and then maybe troll around the pubs playing our fiddles, and end up in the Vincent, or the St. Vincent. I think I called it the St. Vincent, don't know why. Anyway, Johnny moved to America, and I was there for years and years and years, and I would see him regularly on my trips. And the last time I saw him just a month before he died, and I was in Washington, and we were making plans. He was making plans to come home, and we were talking about making some music when he got back, and sadly he didn't make it. But I've got this great photograph of me and him standing outside the Watergate building in Washington, and so we'll try it now and see how we go on. Still remember late St. Vincent nights when we were young and we were foolish. Let's play another tune and dare to find ourselves, for really who are we? But now that melody has danced away, hear it sing across the ocean on his way back home, on his way back home, on his way back home. For many weary miles we chased that tune and shared the journey with the the others, but it seems it hides under the silver moon, and its mystery still covers me. And now that melody is danced away, I hear it sing across the ocean on his way back home, on his way back home, on his way back home. So we let another good friend go, and we break our hearts with wonder. It seems we never learned to play it slow, we just danced inside the thunder. And now that melody is danced away, I hear it sing across the ocean on his way back home, 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 on his way back home. Thank you very much. That's the wee song I wrote for my late dear pal Johnny Cunningham, and Johnny was a brilliant fiddle player, not just even for playing tunes, but he was brilliant to accompany songs, to sing along with you, to sing. I used to love singing my songs with Johnny. He'd always find some interesting wee line to kind of complement the song. Brilliant. Anyway, we're going. This is the point where we do a wee chorus, and I've decided tonight to do something very complicated because you've had it easy for the last 6 weeks. And so this is a trad song. It's a kind of local song. I really don't even know where it comes from. It's very local anyway, and it's probably a song from the Scottish Wars of Independence, I think, something like that, or it's based on that. And so the chorus that you sing is you sing. Wha will ride with gallant Murray? Wha will ride with Geordie Sell? He's the flower o' Glen Isla. Now, Glen Isla's a wee glen just outside Blairgowrie, just along the road here. He's the flower o' Glen Isla and the darling o' Dunkeld. And Dunkeld is a town just a few miles from the village of Butterstone here down on the Tay. See the white rose in his bonnet. He was see his banner o'er the Tay. His good sword he now has drawn it and has flung the sheath away. Is that easy enough for you? So we'll go over it a couple of times. Wha will ride with gallant Murray? Wha will ride with Geordie Sell? You've got time to Google the words, actually. You could Google them up. Wha will ride with gallant Murray? Wha will ride with Geordie Sell? He's the flower o' Glen Isla and the darling o' Dunkeld. See the white rose in his bonnet. See his banner o'er the Tay. His good sword he now has drawn it and has flung the sheath away. Thrown the sheath away. So we'll do the chorus a couple of times. Okay, goes like this. Wha will ride with gallant Murray? Wha will ride with Geordie Sell? He's the flower o' Glen Isla and the darling o' Dunkeld. See the white rose in his bonnet, see his banner o'er the tay. His good sword he now has drawn it, and has flung the sheath away. Okay, try that. Oh, wha will ride with gallant Murray, wha will ride with Geordie Sell. He's the fluer o' Glenilla, and the darling o' Dunkeld. See the white rose in his bonnet, see his banner o'er the tay. His good sword he now has drawn it, and has flung the sheath away. Oh, every faithful Murray follows, first of heroes, best of men. Every true and trusty Stuart blithely leaves his native glen. Atholl lads are lads o' honour, Westland rogues are rebels all. When we come within their border, we will guard the Campbell's claw. Here we go. And wha will ride with gallant Murray, wha will ride with Geordie Sell. He's the fluer o' Glenilla, and the darling o' Dunkeld. See the white rose in his bonnet, see his banner o'er the tay. His good sword he now has drawn it, and has flung the sheath away. Oh, Mingus, he's our friend and brother, Gascon, Strew and Arne Slack. Noble Perth has ta'en the field, wi' all the Drummonds at his back. What will ride wi' gallant Murray, let us fight for Charlie's crown. From the fight we will not cinder, till the tyrants are brought down. Here we go. And wha will ride with gallant Murray, wha will ride with Geordie Sell. He's the fluer o' Glenilla, and the darling o' Dunkeld. See the white rose in his bonnet, see his banner o'er the tay. His good sword he now has drawn it, and has flung the sheath away. Macintosh, the gallant soldier, wi' the Grahams and Gordons gay, they had ta'en the field o' honour, spite of what their chiefs would say. Point the musket, brother rapier, lift the brogue for Roland shoe, scour the dark and face the danger, Macintosh has all to do. A lot of words in this song. Oh, wha will ride with gallant Murray, wha will ride with Geordie Sell. He's the fluer o' Glenilla, and the darling o' Dunkeld. See the white rose in his bonnet, see his banner o'er the tay. His good sword he now has drawn it, and has flung the sheath away. This is why you sing it on your own. No, look, don't be so terrified, you'll be alright, and you can just make it up if you like. Here we go, here we go. Oh, whoa. Very good, well done. And wha will ride with gallant Murray, wha will ride with Geordie Sell. He's the fluer o' Glenilla, and the darling o' Dunkeld. See the white rose in his bonnet, see his banner o'er the tay. His good sword he now has drawn it, and has flung the sheath away. Well done. I don't know if any of you managed to get through that at all, but that could be your first lesson in Scottish dialect there. I'm sure you'll be able to find a translation of it all on Google. Anyway, it's a great song. It's one of them songs we all know from when we're wee. It's a very local kind of song. There's something very nice about singing a kind of arousing local song like that. I'm now going to play a couple of fiddle tunes. And for most people don't realise that from the age of about 20 to the age of about 30, I had a career as a fiddle player, and I played fiddle in a band called the Tannahill Weavers, and ended up in an old beat-up Ford Transit van with 4 bald tyres and no starter motor, as I recall, travelling up and down the autobahns of Germany and Switzerland, and it was great fun. But I had to stop playing when I started doing my own songs. I had to kind of really stop playing the fiddle because everybody was thinking of me as a fiddle player. But the problem with the fiddle, if you're not playing it all the time, it's quite it's a stressful instrument to play. Let's grab my fiddle just now, and so it's like you've got to change and playing guitar, and normally you don't play both, you either play fiddle or you play guitar, and so when you put the guitar down and pick the fiddle up, you've got to change the kind of floppy disk on the brain computer. I mean, maybe people don't know what a floppy disk is now anymore, but you've got to change the hard drive or the software in your head because you're doing a whole different bunch of stuff. So, and it usually takes me about half an hour to get warmed up. We'll do it cold here, and we'll just see how we go on. I'm going to do a wee slow tune that my son Jamie and I wrote for a documentary, which was fantastic, called the Highland Empire, which was study on all the Scots and French fur traders that went up the St. Lawrence and kind of had this connection with the Native American Indian people there, and kind of integrated with them really well. So much so that now there's a whole kind of group of people up there called the Matey, and they're even their flag is like a wee St. Andrew's cross with the corners sort of turned around. And there was a great kind of connection between the Native American Indians and the Scots fur traders and the French fur traders. And there was a scene in the movie where the young Scottish fur trader and this wee young girl were sitting together, and obviously they couldn't talk to each other, but one held their hand up and the other one held their hand up, and he made this little bit of music to go with it. I mean, it's called the Matey. But the director that I was working for, who had made the documentary, told me a really funny story about, because they decided they wanted to have one of the Matey sharpshooters shoot a buffalo from it, and it's part of the filming, and they thought that would be a really cool thing to do. So they went to a local farmer and they bought a buffalo from his herd, and they arranged the next day to go out and film this, and there was only one, so they had all the cameras up, and there was only one wee problem. The Matey had a big party the night before, so they were all drunk and they were smashed, so that the next morning when they were out to do the important shot, the Matey sharpshooter was less than kind of, he was a wee bit under the weather. Anyway, he said that they got the cameras ready. They stampeded the herd, and the Matey sharpshooter followed the buffalo shot. Sure enough, he got the buffalo, but the bullet went right through the buffalo and killed the prize bull of the whole herd. And it cost the film company a fortune to actually pay the farmer for the prize bull that the hungover Matey sharpshooter had shot. Anyway, this is the tune, and we'll try it without any accompaniment, which is a bit. We'll just see what happens. Okay, so yeah. And that's my wee tune for the Matey. I think it's called. I think they're called the Nation actually. But for the Matey people up in the St Lawrence. And I'm now going to play a wee march, so we can put the chairs back now and have a wee, just for a Saturday night, you can put your chairs back in your living room, and I'll play a wee march so that you can do a wee Canadian barn dance and a wee jig. And the wee march is actually, we've got a really great friend called Gina McLeod, and she's a fantastic singer, and she helps us out at the festival. Those of you who come to the festival know Gina and Alan. And she's from a very important family of bagpipe tune writers, and her dad and her grandfather both wrote fantastic bagpipe tunes that you would, in fact, one of the tunes that changed my life was a tune that her dad wrote called John Morrison of Ascent House, it was called, and it was on the very first Alan Stivell record. For any of you who know back that far, it was called The Renaissance of the Celtic Harp, and he played the bagpipes with a rock band, and I was just a teenager, and I thought this was fantastic, and it was Gina's dad's tune. He also, so I'm going to play our granddad's tune, which is called The Conundrum, and it's a very strange march because it's kind of syncopated march, but the truth is that Gina's granddad had a wooden leg, seemingly. This is the story anyway. And he wanted to write a tune because a normal march is not much good to somebody with a wooden leg, And so he wanted to have a wee tune that he could march around and play the bagpipes with. So he wrote this syncopated tune called The Conundrum. And then we'll play a wee, one of my own wee tunes at the end. And so we'll see how we get on. And we might be joined, with a bit of luck, Mrs. McLean might be able to press the buttons in time to run down and to give me a wee bit of help with the piano. We'll just see what happens. And so here we go. Okay, so. Well done, well done, Mrs. McLeish, who's running back to the technical box to switch the reverb off. Here we go. Well done, Jenny. And it's very bizarre here in this empty hall, at this empty room here, trying to kind of get some kind of fiddle vibe going, I tell you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that wee bit of fun, and I hope you're having a nice wee Saturday night with your wee with a wee refreshment. And so we're number 22 now, so we're kind of heading down the road towards live 25. And I'm just going to keep going as long as I can keep digging into my archive of songs and stuff and that to keep this going. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. At this point, I always like to kind of just make a little mention to all the people, to all the NHS people and the care workers, and you know I'm in a kind of cocoon here in my house in my wee garden, and me and Mr. Tatty Face and his family and my chickens. But I know that out there are people really struggling hard and with some very complicated and difficult, dangerous things that they're doing and hard stuff. So I really appreciate it, and I have to this is a wee place for me. I can say thank you to people like teachers and the social workers and the bin men, the people that are working in the supermarkets. There's just so many people that are still making the wheels of our lives tumbling over, you know. So thank you very much, and I'll see you on, well, this is Saturday, Sunday. I'll see you on Monday for another wee live concert. I hope you're all looking after each other, and I hope you're all staying cheery, because that's the most important thing. And if in doubt, get a wee song going in the bath, you know, because music's magic. And I really believe that. My little daughter, when she was little, she said, when she was asked by the teacher, she sort of said, what does your daddy do, Julia? And she says, my daddy's a magician. And I think music is very magic for our soul. So, good. Oh yeah, and it's time for my. This is a bit of the night that I really look forward to, because this is when I get my little glass of port. So, good night till the next time. You take care of yourself. Slán va, and I'll see you on Monday. Night night.